Hi, I'm Caroline Tudor, and I'm here to turn the Sci-Fi Channel scanner onto the latest Star Trek movie, First Contact. We've got some great clips to show you. Plus, I'll be asking some selected humanoids for their impressions on this, the 8th Star Trek movie. If you want the latest on First Contact, engage.
In his nightmares, he can see them. In his mind, he can hear them.
Locutus.
In his soul, he can feel them.
I've just received a report from Deep Space 5. Long-range sensors have picked up...
Yes, I know. The Borg. Set a course for Earth. Maximum warp.
Now, in Earth's darkest hour, he must fight them again.
Captain, Earth.
But this time, they must travel to the past
April 4th, 2063.
to save our future.
You're all astronauts on some kind of Star Trek.
First Contact is the first of the Next Generation movies. David Bailey is here from Cult Times, and I'd like to ask him, how does First Contact stack up against the old generation?
Oh, it easily compares. It's great to see the Next Generation cast, who are the cast that really got me into the series, holding a film on their own, and they do it very well.
So would you recommend non-Star Trek fans to go and see it?
Absolutely. I mean, although the Borg, the main villains of the piece, are from the series, you don't need to know anything that's gone on before. You can just get straight in there and enjoy the special effects and all the action.
They invade our space, and we fall back. They assimilate entire worlds, and we fall back. Not again. The line must be drawn here.
It looks like the control deck's 26 up to 11.
Mr. Data and I are returning to the ship. Don't let them touch you!
Captain!
Data!
If you were any other man, I would kill you where you stand.
So Paula, what were your first impressions of First Contact?
Well, I thought it was a lot darker than the series. Sometimes I find Star Trek a bit two-dimensional. The costumes are a bit bright, the set's a bit sort of perfect. And what I liked about the film was that it was sort of that sort of retrofitted Blade Runner look about it. You know, the Borgs managed to make the Enterprise look really, really interesting.
As far as the men are concerned, which do you think was the best or your favourite? Jean-Luc Picard as the more intellectual captain, or the more romantic, maybe, William Shatner as Captain Kirk?
Well, I think, as I said earlier, Patrick Stewart is just such a wonderful actor. I think he brings such a depth to the character that William Shatner never did. I think you really relate to him and you appreciate the role he plays. I'd probably follow him into deep space.
This is Captain Picard of the Enterprise. I'm taking command of the fleet. Target all of your weapons onto the following coordinates. Fire at my command.
Sir, the coordinates you have indicated do not appear to be a vital system.
Trust me, Data.
Now, John here is a big Star Trek enthusiast. So first off, I'd just like to ask you, John, did you like this new film?
Yes, I thought it was excellent. I thought it was one of the better Star Trek films, definitely.
Do you think the film says that technological progress is a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it says it's a good thing because without it we can't go out into space and meet all these wonderful new life forms, but at the same time you have the Borg being this more sort of threatening aspect, so it's sort of a warning of not to let it get out of control.
Human. We used to be exactly like them. Flawed, weak, organic. But we evolved to include the synthetic. Now we use both to attain perfection. Your goal should be the same as ours.
Believing oneself to be perfect is often the sign of a delusional mind.
Small words from a small being trying to attack what he doesn't understand.
First Contact is the Star Trek movie, which isn't just for Star Trek fans. I'm here with Adam Smith from Empire magazine, the film magazine, a man who's used to reviewing all the latest movies, to ask him, does First Contact stand up as a sci-fi blockbuster in its own right? Like Independence Day, maybe?
Not really. I think what we've got to remember is that First Contact has a budget of about $30 million, and Independence Day, for instance, had a budget of about 80, and it really shows up on the screen. So if you're going to put a film like this up against the upcoming sci-fi blockbusters like Men in Black and Starship Troopers, all of which are coming up, I think it's going to disappoint the audience. This is really aimed at the die-hard Trekker. It's a film full of in-jokes referencing the other series that you've seen on television, and I don't think it's going to be able to pull in the audience that, say, an Independence Day or any of those other big films will do. It's for a fan.
First Contact is Fiona's very first Star Trek movie. So, Fiona, what were your first impressions?
It felt a lot more alien-esque, really. There was lots of charging down corridors, and it was much darker than it usually is, and I think that's better. It's more sci-fi for me.
What were your favourite characters in this film?
I think my favourite character is probably Lily, who was the woman from the 21st century. And I liked her because when she didn't realise she was on the Enterprise, and when she found out, it was just like all of us would feel when we suddenly realised we were out in space and looking at the Earth through this film, and it was really good. She just looked so terrified.
You're on a ship, a spaceship, orbiting the Earth at an altitude of
You want to help me get me out of here?
All right. You want a way out? Here it is.
What is this?
Gary is a freelance science fiction writer. So, Gary, what do you think First Contact brings, if anything, to the sci-fi genre?
Well, it's a continuation of everything about Star Trek. We wouldn't have a science fiction genre today, really, if it wasn't for Star Trek, because originally science fiction was seen as this kind of 50s B-movie thing, and Star Trek came along and made it respectable and just gave it this worldwide exposure. So, in many ways, First Contact is just continuing the excellent work that Star Trek's been doing for the last 20, 30-odd years.
Do you think this film, though, is going to appeal to a mass market? Do you think it's going to do well at the box office, people who aren't Star Trek fans at the moment?
Yes, I think so, because apart from being a Star Trek film for the fans, it's very much an action picture. It reminded me of Die Hard in Space sort of thing.
Anything can actually match the Star Trek phenomenon?
No, I think the Star Trek phenomenon is so huge, there's nothing anywhere to equal it. I mean, from a purely practical point of view, it makes a fortune for Paramount. They're never going to let this franchise go. And it's one of those franchises that will just keep growing and growing and growing, and when we're long gone, it's still going to be here. There's still going to be a Star Trek of some sort.
Fire.
Contact marks the latest achievement in the 30-year story of Star Trek, a story which seems destined to live long in our hearts and prosper at the box office. First Contact has withstood the Sci-Fi Channel scanner test, so if you haven't seen this film yet, make it so. This is Caroline Tudor, beaming out.